before we start talking about Python code and actually writing the code for the operator, let's first define the schema for our CRDs, which will make it easier to understand. So we're going to define the schema, and we'll define a instance of the resource that we will be deploying. And let's actually create two files. I'm going to call one file CRD YAML. Actually, let's call it chain CRD. Okay. And I'm going to copy and paste definition of a chain. Here you go. And I'm going to go through it line by line. So the most important thing is that what we are doing here, we are defining a new resource in Kubernetes. A new resource which is equivalent, not equivalent, but similar to like a pod or deployment. We will be able to deploy a node, blockchain node, that behaves in a similar way to a pod. So what we do is specify this extension version. We give it a name. So we name it change.pivotaldevops.com with our domain names. We define a group, which is Pivotal DevOps. And then we can have specified versions. So what's interesting about Kubernetes is that the same resource might be accessed using multiple versions, which makes it easier when you are migrating or when you're actually implementing new features. You can first start with alpha, then release it as V1, and then you can still keep alpha and remove it, give people a chance to migrate their code to a new group, a new version during the transition. And what's important, we define sub-resource, which is the status, just like status for pods. And we have the schema, where we define, just remove this, we'll just define one field in the schema, which is an image. It's basically a Docker image for the blockchain that we want to run. And also we specify the names. We do chain as a singular and chains as plural. And we also specify the scope of this resource can be namespace, which means that you can put these chain resources into different namespaces. Okay, so this is a little bit more complicated. The most important thing to understand here is that we define a new resource, and it's going to have just one property, which is image. And now let's do let's make it a chain, Juno chain YAML. There you go. So this will be easier. API version, which will be pivotal devops.com, the alpha. Kind is chain. Metadata will be, yeah, sure, Juno chain. That's fine. And spec is very simple. It's just an image. It's just an image. And I'm going to grab an image. It's basically a Docker image. So what will happen is our goal is that when we deploy this chain to our Kubernetes cluster, the operator will notice that the chain has been deployed and will create a pod for it. Okay? And with just this, we can actually start seeing some resources in Kubernetes. Let me just kill this. And what I'm going to do, KC apply, file, chain CRD. So I deploy this CRD definition, and I'm going to deploy the chain. And we didn't get any errors. Seems to be working. And we can go to our K9s and look at the CRDs. And there it is. That's our CRD. That's what we define in this file, which is the custom resource definition, which you can see here, custom definition. And what's even more interesting is we can go at chains. And we have our Juno chain, and we can actually look at it. I would say that's pretty cool. It was super simple, not a lot of work. So now our Kubernetes cluster is aware of these resources, which means we can easily deploy them, remove them. The only thing that's missing is a controller or / operator that actually knows what to do with these resources. So now we have to start working on the code that will do something when these resources are deployed. And I'll cover that in the next video.